You state in your testimony that utilizing existing equipment on aircraft today that has produced little or no return on investment. I think I know what you mean by that statement, but for the record, would you elaborate?
Well, we in fact have a generation of airplanes in some cases that are being retired with equipment on board that has never really been utilized. We want to have an opportunity to use all of the available technologies we have today to create as much system capacity and as much efficiency as possible. And doing that is simply a matter of having policies and procedures that facilitate that. That's why NextGen is not a big bang. It was talked earlier about it's a build a little, test a little, and it's a collection of policies, procedures, and technologies all working together. That's why there's so much we can do. It's not flipping a switch on something new. It's about making lots of little steps that collectively are going to be transformative in nature.
I'm interested in whether you think the technology with which you're working provides adequate security for general aviation. Instead of what we have today, an operator has to have an armed marshal. There are very few of them. This is not their day job. So you can't even get one. If you want a small plane that has 4 seats, well, there goes one of them to this armed guard. And then you still can't come in here. You've got to go to some gateway airport. And if you're willing to do all of that, you've got to make sure you've done paperwork by the ton to get into Washington, D.C. Do we have the technology to get rid of that and to resurrect or to let general aviation become a part of doing business with the nation's capital today?
Reagan National is open for business, but it's not. Prior to 9/11, we would have 30,000 operations per year at Reagan National Airport. Today, we have about 300, which means that we have effectively eliminated 99% of the general aviation operations at Reagan National Airport with these restrictions. I think we are having some progress being made with the TSA along those lines. With regard to next-gen technologies, I will say that the backbone of the next-gen surveillance technology is ADS-B. ADS-B will allow us to know more about the identity and the intent of all airplanes. So in that respect, there is a next-gen component that could be enormously helpful at promoting operations, because at some point we have got to move beyond these restrictions that are in place. They are effectively killing general aviation.
Mr. Bolen, do you think general aviation is going to benefit?
I do think the thought behind moving toward NextGen is that it will increase system capacity. That's very important to general aviation, because what we have seen is that any time there is congestion at airports or in airspace, we effectively get squeezed out. If you go back and look at Midway Airport, it was an outstanding general aviation airport. It no longer is. We've seen the same thing in San Jose. We've seen the same thing in Manchester. We've seen it at Fort Lauderdale. We end up at secondary airports, tertiary airports, getting pushed further and further out. Our hope is that as we expand system capacity, we will be able to participate in that capacity, and we will be able to have access to airports and airspace. The way it is today, we are effectively 4% of the traffic at the 10 busiest airports. We would like an opportunity to have greater access. We also see clearly that there's an opportunity to have safety improved throughout the system, access, precision access at a number of general aviation airports where we don't have it today, and we see fuel system savings across the board. So we are supportive of the move to NextGen.